do, let me kick things off. As some of you might have heard, if you joined us earlier, I'm Kylee Hall, former radio DJ for a college station in Williamsburg, Virginia. But also here at Bstock, I work with marketing and customer support teams. We have Jeremy Walton, who's in our product management team. He'll be walking through a product demo, all the great new things that have been going live, and some upcoming exciting new features. We have Andrea, also known as Drea to us here at Bstock, content marketing guru, creating a lot of video content and resources, hopefully helping all of our buyers. And we have Gary, who is head of our customer service, and so he and his team are the ones answering all of your technical questions that come in, and so he is our expert on all things Bstock. In this session, as I mentioned, we'll be going through some platform updates, things that are already live, and also some upcoming new features. So Jeremy will be taking us through that. Drea is going to be going through our buyer resources and tools. We'll give a little highlight of our new chat widget known as Beacon on the site. So Gary and his team are the masterminds behind getting that up, and hopefully it's proving helpful for a lot of folks. And then we'll end with a Q&A session. But again, please use that Q&A panel. Anything pre-submitted, we'll be answering. So there's a slew of questions at the end, but we'll also be answering those on the fly as they come in. So with that, I will hand it off to Jeremy.
There we go. Sorry to unmute myself. It's cursing obscenities in the background, so I didn't want people to hear that. Uh, yeah, thanks, Kylie. I'm Jeremy. I work in product development here at Bstock, which basically is just working on new tools and ways that we can help buyers improve their shopping experience. And so some of you have probably been on calls with either myself or folks that I work with, like Amara or Alyssa, um, or Geethika or Fred. These are all folks that are actively having interviews with buyers and doing focus groups and getting your feedback on your top problems or suggestions on ways to improve the site. And so we're constantly trying to get that info from you and get those insights. So I plug for that if ever you wish to sync up with me, please reach out and would love to get your ideas. So I just wanted to preview a few things that we're currently working on and that should be released or have been released here in this quarter. So I just wanted to pop through a couple of things here. Let me share my screen, make sure it's the right one here. Yeah, like I said, we're kind of constantly working through new things here. One feature we wanted to kind of talk about on this call was this quick bid functionality. And if you came into a listing here, and typically when you come in to place a bid, you type in the next minimum bid amount, or maybe you want to do a proxy bid and type in $2,800 or something like that. Um, for a lot of our power bidders, it just kind of gets a little tedious, especially when they're typing in from a phone. And so we just added this new quick bid functionality where here to the leftmost bid button here is the minimum the minimum acceptable bid, basically like the next bid increment up from the current bid. The middle one is that times two, and then that times five. So like kind of five bid increments, even though we don't really have increments up. And so it's just a way to kind of quickly place a bid here. And so that's been really nice, particularly for a lot of our power bidders that are just coming in here and placing bids all the time. And yeah, that amount has kind of varied here, but we're just doing a new A/B test now where it's this minimum amount bid increment here, and that was based on feedback coming directly from the buyers. Another kind of small update that we're just rolling out to an A/B testing really is the manifest. So if you look kind of like at our typical manifest, of course now all of my manifests on this are the new one. But if you look here, it's pretty unwieldy, and that's as I'm kind of scrolling through the manifest, it's hard to kind of keep track of which item I'm looking at, and a lot of data here, and it's a lot of buyers have just kind of said that it's very, very difficult to look at the manifest in product, and nearly everyone we talk to downloads the manifest, and heaven help us, they prefer the Excel experience and looking at it in Excel than here on the product. And so we're taking up that challenge to make at least this somewhat better on the product. Of course, we can't replace Excel. We don't want to rebuild Excel here in the product, but doing some things like bare minimum, in my opinion, is like freezing this cell here in the new manifest experience that's rolling out right now. And so as you scroll over, you can easily see which column you're on or which row you're on. And of course, if it's kind of getting cut off here, woohoo, we're welcome to the early 2000s. We can just show you, we can expand that and make it easier.
Jeremy, your excitement is palpable.
Sorry, I know I'm very I can be very monotone too, so apologize. But you can freeze more than one cell. You can drag and drop different categories. Uh, just trying to make this better. Of course, how exciting can a table be? Like, I'm sorry if I'm not sounding super excited, but
It is very exciting. We love
yeah, it
that
is.
kind of freeze rows and columns. Definitely helpful. I'm just
Uh,
going to make a quick call out. I see a couple of questions. I did not introduce Nikki, who is the ghost that is answering everybody's questions in the
oh,
Q&A
sweet.
panel. No, so Nikki is also on our customer service, customer support team. Yes, she has been great at kind of monitoring and getting after those questions. Again, please do submit those there.
Yeah, and I'll kind of just kind of motor through a few things, and we can get to questions. One other sort of filter here that is kind of hidden and buried, and one of the reasons is it's a weird name, and we're going to rename it probably as price as a percent of MSRP, which makes much more sense. But here, if you wanted to filter by, hey, I'm only looking for things that are under 17% of MSRP, it'll go and filter that. And as you know, like MSRP for us, it's the best we can do right now. It's what the product was when it was new to market, what the price was. It's not the current price. We would love to be able to display what the current retail price is across Amazon or eBay, etc. And when we're constantly trying to work on having a solution for that. But in the meantime, we're always using MSRP as kind of a baseline. So if you wanted a lot of our buyers do shop by what percent of MSRP the price is currently at. This is a way to do that. Again, it's just kind of a filter here on this all listings or all auctions page. And so if you come here, scroll down, use that filter, you can slide it and do fun things like that.
Jeremy,
Uh,
I'm going to interrupt with just taking us about 20 steps back for a second. I'm just seeing some questions come in from folks that it seems like are new to the platform, newer to the
yeah.
platform. And actually, if you don't mind bringing your screen share back up, but just at a very high level, Bstock is a B2B resale platform. So we sell overstock and returned goods from some of the largest brands, retailers that you might know and love in the US and globally as well. Um, One of the requirements to buy on our platform is a resale certificate. And that is important because all of these transactions, so Jeremy, if you don't mind going into a listing detail page, which is what we call it when you kind of click into a listing, is this is the details of that said listing, as Jeremy just walked through the manifest. We do not charge sales tax. And so that is because the premise of our platform is that we are selling to other businesses who will in turn sell these items to consumers. So really that is the biggest kind of stepping stone to become a buyer on the platform is to get that resale certificate. And those are typically done on a state level. So whatever state you live in, there's different requirements for getting that certificate. But just wanted to ground everybody again for those new buyers and folks. Um, we're on here. Oh, and Joe, I just saw a question. Thank you for joining. I think Jeremy will have a nice treat in store for you coming up here with his later part of the demo. But sorry for this quick step back, but for folks just joining and curious about B stock and maybe not having or understanding what it takes to become a buyer, just wanted to let you know kind of the intricacies of how B stock works, the fact that we are selling from retailers, brands, manufacturers to other businesses. That resale certificate is really the requirement to become a buyer. So we can answer a lot more questions on that. Drea has put together some great content about how you get those resale certificates. So a lot of resources, but just wanted to let everyone know, especially for those newer folks on the line. Sorry, Jeremy, please continue.
No, you're fine. Yeah, and I'm not seeing, feel free to interrupt whenever if I'm not seeing the questions that are getting asked. Yeah, might seems a little weird here. So one thing too is as we show percent of MSRP, I know that's not the total landed cost, which is a term kind of buyers, a lot of our big buyers use, but what total landed cost means is your all-in cost, because shipping, especially right now, with wars and oil prices and various other, truck driver shortages and things like that, uh, shipping prices have gone up quite a bit, just in this last quarter and a half. And that is a significant amount, like a significant portion of your cost, your all-in cost for a listing. And so we are working on ways to try to get that higher up in the funnel, like earlier in your shopping experience, being able to see the total shipping cost. But in the meantime, one thing we're having roll out here in the next week or so is a test of this total landed cost bid box. And so this is just a design here that I'm showing of what it'll look like. But basically, it's it's showing the current bid amount, right, for the auction, but also down here a total landed cost sort of breakdown. And basically, what that is, it'll show that's nowhere near what our B stock fees are, by the way. That's much higher than what it is. They're not 6%. So shame on the designer, UX designer, for putting that in there. But yeah, that's a very inflated B stock fee. That it's not that high. A current bid amount and estimated shipping costs. And so then it'll show your total there, and then give you a breakdown of what it is as a percent of MSRP and the total cost per unit as well.
All
And
done
so
from the total landed cost now, because those are in the listing detail page today, but not done from the total landed cost. They're just done from that bid amount, correct?
exactly, and this stems again from user kind of feedback and research. Again, it might sound like it's not sexy, it's not super fancy, but it's a pain point that everybody is dealing with where they're opening up a calculator to add this up and then divide and like it's just time. You guys have a lot of other things to do other than shop on B stock. We understand that, and so we're trying to make this faster and a better experience for you, so you can get back to flipping these products or processing them and doing everything else that you need to do to run your business. So that's what the total landed cost bid box is. Again, this will be rolling out as an A/B test, so some users will be seeing it starting later this week, and hopefully it works well for you. And if it does, we'll roll it out to all of the users. And also, just quickly looking through the rest of this page, if it'll let me. Um, this you'll notice this listing details page is a little bit different as well, in that it has the images are smaller. They're obviously you can still click into them and blow them up, but it's not taking over the whole page. We're trying to bring the manifest up for the buyer so they can see it above the fold, get to it sooner, being able to use the manifest in a full screen, have notes on your listing so you can keep this in the app and look and reference those notes when you're placing a bid or adding it to your watch list. Furthermore, that will also show up on your My Bids page soon. We'll have the notes feature there as well. And on that My Bids page, we'll also have something along the lines of your bid summary, the total amount that you currently are bidding on B stock and the sum of your winning bids. This is in our staging area right now, but we'll be running that test soon, later in the month. And let's see, I have one other thing. I think I have to stop the share and redo it. It's on another page. One sec. Yeah. Oh, wait, of course.
Jeremy, while you're pulling that up, I'm going to answer a few of these questions on the fly. Um, and Gary and Nikki, this might be for you. If you're a tax exempt nonprofit, do you still need a resale certificate? Is the answer based on it might depend on your state.
You do need a resale certificate.
Okay. Yes. So thank you for the question on that. Our full,
Um,
oh, sorry. Go ahead. Are you
Sorry, I
ready?
was going to jump back in and then I'll get it back to you.
Okay.
This is also a preview of the My Bids page. A lot of our power users want to be able to access all their bids, but bid from that screen. And so we are adding bidding functionality to your My Bids page. Also, at the end of this month, we'll be running the tests for that. And so you'll be able to just go to all of your bids, filter by only the ones you're losing, and rebid on those. And this is also the page where we'll have your notes and other things like that. So just another quick preview there. And I think that's probably a good stopping point. I feel like I could keep talking. We have other features rolling out soon, like an AI summary of the manifest that you can access from the all listings page without having to click into the listing. That'll be out next month.
Jeremy, I would
Yeah.
love if you don't mind going to the all listings page real quick. So, a couple of questions coming in about shipping. And I think we have these in the Q&A as well. Shipping hopefully should be coming down based on some recent news, but it might take a while for that trickle down effect to happen. It is, everybody's paying these gas prices right now. It's painful. Um, there's one question specifically about saying it seems like some of the shipping is higher than market rates. One thing I will say there is, maybe through support or otherwise, kind of showing us what you're seeing. There might be a technical glitch in the back end because we're getting all of these rates from a slew of different carriers, and what you are typically seeing in the estimated shipping is us choosing what is the best rate. So we do have a number of carriers that we typically work with, depending on the seller or retailer that you're buying from. Um, but if you are seeing things that just look wildly off, it might be in the integration that we have with that carrier, the wrong rate card, whatever it might be. So that is one instance where it might be worth submitting a question, perhaps the beacon, which Gary will highlight here in a second. But I did want to highlight specifically on the all listings page how you can look for those facilities that are closest to you, so to at least minimize the amount of shipping you would be paying, and looking within a particular radius. So for some of our more familiar buyers, they might already know about this, but for some of our newer buyers, we're trying to minimize that shipping amount. This distance filter that Jeremy is demonstrating is going to be the best way to find those facilities and that inventory that are closest to you. But
And
let me
another place too you can look at if you want it to just see a little bit more transparency on the carriers. If you go up here to this change carrier button, you can see like we scan across a number of different brokers and carriers, and then we choose the cheapest by default. If you prefer one versus the other, you can change that.
And
And
that's fairly recent that we included that, right? It was just in the last couple months, Jeremy.
yes, yeah. Again,
Ah,
that's more towards the other side of the business, our shipping folks, and so it's one of their products, but yeah, that's here.
yeah,
It
no,
gives you a
that's
little bit of transparency. Now, there are certain sellers where they have to do some cross-docking, and it when they ship it ships through another warehouse where it will then cross-dock. And sometimes that is a reason for a higher cost in shipping than you would just get if you went to Yellow Freight or something like that and try
mm,
to plug in the dimensions. And so there are a few instances where the seller is has to process it in such a way where they're cross-docking it, and that's just a restriction they have on their end, and that is reflected in the shipping and handling fees there. And so another thing to keep an eye on.
Yes, no, thank you for that sidebar there. Um, Yeah, who I see some more shipping questions in. So that toggle of being able to choose, I think, is helpful. There are, and each seller, frankly, has different options. Some do buyer arranges. I saw a question come in relative to, hey, if I'm near the warehouse, can I just pick it up? I would say that is not typical. Warehouses where all this valuable inventory is stored, as you can imagine, is pretty tightly controlled and high security, so they don't want just anybody showing up and picking up inventory and kind of seeing the inner workings there. So, in some cases, maybe that's possible, but in most, you're needing to work through an intermediary kind of shipping and logistics carrier to get that inventory. Um,
And that's actually an important distinction too, Kylie. Like you are buying this directly from Costco or directly from Target. You're not going through a middleman or middle person, whatever the right middle person sounds really marginalized, but a middleman, right? Like you
or middle woman.
middle woman. But you're not having to buy it through an intermediary, and so they don't want a bunch of people coming in to buy their liquidation at facilities where they're actually selling their forward logistics, like their actual B2C, their consumer retail. And so they have to be very streamlined in the way that they do their shipping for liquidation merchandise. And so, yeah, that is also one of those things about buying directly from the retailer or the manufacturer. It's awesome, and that's what's so great about B stock and why we've grown so much. But you do have some restrictions on how it can be shipped and whether or not you can pick it up and things like that. So it's indicative of who you're buying it from. You know, that's you're not buying it through some intermediary.
I see a few other logistical questions. I think we can get to some of these in the Q&A. Um, I see a question about inventory out of Canada, which we do have, is written in French. And then the last time I took French was middle school. Um, but I do know we have Canadian inventory, I think in a few different areas of Canada. Again, that distance filter, zip code geolocation, I think will help you narrow down where that is. Um, in terms of resale certificates, in Canada and outside of the US and North America. Nikki and Gary, I don't know if I can ask for your help to answer those. But why don't we get into B Stock Beacon and the customer and buyer resources that Drea was going to highlight to make sure we leave a little bit of time to get into all of those goodies and references because I think they will help answer a lot of the questions coming up here. And then we'll get into the Q&A and get through a number of the questions that were pre-submitted and also those coming in live here. So Drea, I will hand over to you.
Do you want to pull up your screen share again, Kylie?
Sure. All
And I
right.
think we might have Beacon queued up
Oh,
first.
yes, you're right. My fault on the order there. All right, Gary.
All right. Well, I'm excited. Gary, I'm over, like Kylie said, customer service. I will try to keep it lively, introducing our new baby we aptly named Beacon through a company contest. So we're really excited to introduce this to you. Rest assured that our live support is not going anywhere. We will be available to answer any and all your questions. We just wanted another way to provide self-service. So, like I said, Beacon is a baby and it is still learning, it's still growing, and we are going to be introducing more and more features with it as we go along. But we've got to crawl before we can run. So, Beacon is just a new self-service. It's hooked up to our FAQs. It doesn't go looking anywhere else for answers except on our website. It also has some guidance on if you there's a problem with your order, it will walk you through how to file a dispute. It will walk you through on how to find your shipping information. So right now it's a lot of guidance based. Uh, Looking forward, we do plan to have you be able to validate your account um, through Beacon and allow that to actually do things for you, file the dispute, actually walk you through it and file it. So a lot of new features to come. Beacon's also available through the phone. So when you call, Beacon will be the first person you'll talk to. May ask for a little bit of information before it gets passed off. But we've tried to make it being able to talk to an agent pretty seamless. So if you still want to talk to an agent, we are there to help. Just Beacon's available 24/7 and doesn't need no wait times with Beacon. So, but we're really excited for it. It gives us a lot of awesome data just to kind of see what people are calling in or chatting in about. Which gives us the ability to create more FAQs and more skills to answer those questions. So that is Beacon. It's a exciting step forward.
Great. Thank you, Gary. Yes, again, available throughout the site. And as Gary mentioned, it is the quickest way to get a response. So it's available 24/7.
I'll also call out one more thing, Kylie, a really
Yeah.
cool, especially for the iPhone users who have the address bar down in the bottom and historically in the past the chat has gotten in the way. The chat icon is now movable. You can drag that anywhere you want to get it out of the way of what you're trying to look at. So just another cool little feature of Beacon.
Great. All right, Drea. Hmm?
Thank you. I'm personally very excited about being able to move the chatbot out of the way. I know I've struggled with that in the past. So hi folks, I'm Drea. I'm on the marketing team. I work on the content and buyer education. You might remember me from the last webinar where I went into our new buyer resource center. So today I have a little bit more for you. Kylie, can you actually go back one slide, please?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. So we've been quite busy on the video front. This has been an exciting new opportunity for me personally, for the company, honestly. And I just want to highlight two new playlists we have on the YouTube channel. The first one there is buying basics, tips and how-tos. So that's where you're going to get all of your registration walkthroughs, learn how to navigate all of those new platform features and tools Jeremy was just talking about. Vic, our buyer account manager, he works really hard on those, so make sure you show him some love. But yeah, that one is front and center up on the YouTube. Definitely take advantage of those. The second playlist is our Hear from the Experts. This is where you can actually hear from other B stock buyers. And, let's be real, these are the actual resellers, resale experts. So they share their experience across topics like shipping. You can see a little snippet over there of Shannon going over his shipping guide. A lot of these are available as shorts as well. So that shorter form content on YouTube, similar to Instagram Reels. And we also highlight a lot of real buyer stories. So you can see one over there from Jim Rowe. If you're ever at one of our trade shows, I'd love to sit down and talk with you and we can highlight you there. So if you're a visual learner, YouTube is a great place to start. There's much more on the way, but just in case, we still have that buyer resource center and the FAQs, like Gary mentioned, these aren't going away either. But little plug here, if you do have any suggestions for additional topics you want to see covered, just drop it in the chat. I'll add it to the queue. I'm always happy to add more to these libraries. You can head to the next slide. So I know video isn't for everyone, so just in case, and maybe you don't want to chat with Beacon, and I know sometimes I'm arguing with the chat bot, so just in case, we still have some opportunities here to engage and learn about the platform. But one offer here we have is our 3 months free access to the reseller mastermind. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Shannon Jean. This is really a great community that he's built, and folks are just sharing in real time, boots on the ground insights and resale wins. So we're really happy to offer this access to his program. So please take advantage of that if you're a new buyer. And also, you might just see more community partners out there in the wild. Like, this goes beyond B stock, and there's tons of people out there providing one-to-one resale guidance. And that's just a short list of some of the people that, we consider partners here. So, check out their handles and accounts, and you can learn a lot from these folks. Like a lot of this information, you just need to learn from another reseller. We're the platform. So, we do our best, but we love to learn from our buyers as well. And as always, you can follow on our social channels. All of the QR codes are linked there, including one to the 3-month offer for the Reseller Mastermind. And you can head to the next slide.
Okay.
So last one for me, but in case you still have any burning questions or just want to stop by for a chat, we do make ourselves available in person as much as we can throughout the year. So we'll be at Evolve and ASD Market Week. Both of these are in August. Both of these are actually in Vegas, which I didn't realize. So if you're out west, feel free, swing by, grab a pair of B socks, some new swag we've got. And like I said, we can sit down for a short interview. I'd love to feature you. I know I was lucky enough to meet a lot of you guys at WHSL and ASD a few months back. So I hope to see some familiar faces again and meet some new ones. So yeah, bookmark those dates. We'll have some booth numbers shared on our socials closer to, but come say hi to the team. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Drea. All right, so I'm just doing a time check, 9:38. We've got about 7 minutes left in the webinar. This might be a speed round of the Q&A and questions that were pre-submitted. I know we have still a bunch in the chat window as well, but let's get through these, and then whatever ones we don't get to answer, we can follow up with along with the recording. We touched on this a little bit. How do I reduce my shipping costs? How do I calculate shipping to a residential neighborhood? So with what Jeremy was sharing earlier, a couple of options here. One, you can change the carrier. So each seller has different options for how they get the inventory to you. And for those carriers that are using, or excuse me, those sellers that are using carriers, we get all of those rates. What we typically present, or what we always present, is the cheapest one. But if you have preference in those carriers, you can use that change carrier option. But that distance filter is also going to be your best option. I've seen a few questions, though, I will call out, come in talking about, oh, I'm not seeing much inventory coming out of X, Y, and Z locations. I will take those notes back to the team. We actually expanded our work with Walmart and have a ton of inventory coming in from them. I don't know, which facilities really that inventory is coming out of, but if there's something different that has changed with the sourcing, maybe we can find out and follow up with you on that. So I did see those notes come in, and I will go back with the team.
If you ever want to be notified when, like, if there's a facility that you want to buy from, they only post periodically, create a saved search. Just go to the all listings page, filter by that facility, and then hit save search. And then it'll notify you whenever new inventory is available from that facility. You can apply that to any filter, really. It doesn't have to be just facilities, but that's a good use case for saved search alerts.
Yeah, that's great. And same thing with the distance filter. So any inventory that falls within, a 50-mile radius, same thing. So good call out, Jeremy. Any other call outs on shipping? Otherwise, I'll get through these quickly
Yeah,
in the remaining
I
minutes.
have something on my end. Marketing plug here and giving you a little
Mhm.
teaser, but we are running another deal of the day campaign leading up to fall and back to school. So this is a really good time for you to get some discounted auctions, like up to $500 off from some sellers. And that comes back as a credit to your account. You can apply it to your next order, and that can really help with the shipping. So that's, just money on the table. Definitely take advantage of those deal of the day campaigns we run, with one coming up. Also, we have another Costco inventory week coming up. We do this twice a year, so look out for that this summer. That's July or August. I can't remember what
Yeah,
month.
typically right at the end of July, beginning of August.
Yeah.
And we've
So
seen shipping promotions with those too. So
yeah. And just on touching on that second one there, make sure you have your address book updated. This is really important because, You can select like, this address is residential, this one is my warehouse. That will make sure it gets reflected into your shipping estimates when you see that like fee breakdown. That way you don't get hit with any surprises. So always keep that shipping address up to date in the address book. It's like my biggest tip there.
Great call.
We are all pained over the shipping costs. We talk about it internally. It's not something that we're complacent about, and we're actively working on ways to reduce the costs, new partnerships, things like that. And so, selfishly, we don't want you to be spending your money on shipping. We want you to be spending your money on the inventory you're buying from our platform. And so, it is in our interests as well to get that shipping cost down. And so, it's not something we take lightly, and we appreciate the feedback and keep it coming.
Great. Um, yeah, so this is around rules and whoops. This is around rules and restrictions. Every seller has different stipulations, and at the end of the day, one high level thing is to say, all of these retailers, brands, manufacturers have their primary inventory that they're trying to sell through their own brick and mortar stores, online stores. So when it comes to the resale inventory, which is typically their overstock and returns, they don't want that inventory in a lot of cases to dilute the value of their kind of primary inventory. And so in those cases, there are export restrictions, or other restrictions that it can't be sold on certain websites, online or otherwise. And so we have to respect that. They are trying to run their businesses and don't want the resold inventory to dilute that. Um, Running down these again, trying to get through as many as we can in the last 2 minutes. I live in a state with no sales tax. Do I still need a resale certificate? Depends on the state. In some cases, the states don't require them, and that is because there's no sales tax. But I will just say, go in and check. We do have a lot of resources that also answer on a state-by-state basis where you can find out this information. To use the B-Stock Beacon, right into our customer support team. And we can help answer those for you specifically to where you are located. We talked about the resale certificate earlier, so I'm going to jump through these payments. There is a payments resource as well. So, Dre, I'm stealing your thunder, but just in the essence of time running through these. Credit cards are just something that so payments, there are resources kind of explaining the different types. So we have wire payments, which is a little bit more of a headache to set up, but is the most straightforward. We have ACH, which is kind of this bank transfer. We have net terms, which is just like getting a line of credit. And then we have started to roll out credit cards on some facilities, which there are also resources pointing to which facilities and which sellers we are currently taking credit cards on. Again, good call out for saved search. You can save those facilities because you prefer using credit cards, and find out whenever listings pop up in those particular locations. But we do plan on rolling out credit cards more broadly across the platform in the coming weeks and months. AI is everywhere. We're using it in a lot of our development. I would just say a lot of what we are doing to enhance the buyer experience, give you as much information as possible, and also present inventory to you that we think will be most appealing based on purchasing habits, those things that you've selected in your buyer profile. There are a lot of ways that we are incorporating AI into what we're developing, and a lot of it hopefully is to get you the inventory that you need at the price you want. So Jeremy, I don't know if there's any plug specifically of development features, but I'll just say it is in a lot of what we're doing on a day-to-day and how we're enhancing the platform.
Yep.
The last one, I will just say we are currently testing and in development on an automatic listing tool. So more to come there, probably in a future webinar. And in the last 30 seconds, I think we'll just go across the board here with a quick 10-second answer from the experts that we have on the line. What patterns do we see among buyers who grow and scale successfully with B-Stock? My 2 cents is doing the math. So I think that total landed cost feature is going to be a huge one. Because while the inventory itself might be a great bargain, if you're spending so much money on shipping, then it makes it harder to get that return back when you're reselling in these other channels and everything. So I think Shannon Jean's line is buy with math. That is really, I think, the biggest note from my side is making sure the numbers make sense, that you've done your research because it can be a big investment and a scary one. Drea, just going down the line, your 10-second tip for folks.
Yeah, I'd say, look for community first, learn from other people first. There's so much information out there, people who dedicate their whole platform just to education. So I'd say lean on that and learn as much as you can. And sometimes it can be a trial by error, or is that how the expression goes? So yeah, definitely, see what other people are doing, try it yourself, see if you can do it better, and just take advantage of that as much as possible.
Jeremy.
Sure. I'd say just start small and grow, like sort of line upon line. Don't don't like every seller, every facility, their every warehouse is a little bit different. The way they pack pallets, the way they ship things, the way they describe things. And so I would say always start small. Never spend beyond what your means, and be realistic on how likely you'll be able to resell this and at what price. And so don't go for home runs, go for singles, get on base, just work on that, and then slowly build it up, and then eventually that kind of snowballs and creates a scaling effect. But always start small and don't take too many risks. So that's my advice.
Mm. Gary.
Mine would be so ditto what everybody else has said, but
Mhm.
if you're starting off, buy what you know. So buy what you're like passionate about. Like if you like sports, check out the sports stuff, electronics, all that. So I mean, if I'm into sports, I don't want to start off with auto supply stuff, right? Like buy what you know would be mine.
Yeah, no, thanks everybody. And my final 2 cents as well. This is overstock goods. So in some cases, brand new items. In other cases, this is return goods. And go in eyes wide open. So we try and standardize and provide consistency in grading and conditions and categories. Every seller is nuanced in how they define things and the condition they assign to them. Make sure you read all of that information. It is critical. Again, especially for anything that is returned goods, it could be really a mix of conditions. And so creativity, pull out your MacGyver skills. Know that some of those items might need some refurbishment, but still could be absolutely good and get a great return on value. But yeah, go in with as much information and math as possible and start small, learn from others. Um, and go with what you know. So thank you all so much. I know there were still a bunch of questions left in the end. We will get back to these as much as we can. I know we're a few minutes over, so thank you for staying with us. Last call out, the Reseller Mastermind, get 3 months for free. Great learning opportunity, learning from experts in the community. Follow us, download all of these great resources Dre and team have been putting out there. And thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you.